I'm Dr. Connie. I'm your host of Mind Your Health podcast. I share my unique perspective both as a practitioner and a patient battling autoimmune condition for over 25 years because I had to figure things out on my own, and my education and my practical approach as a patient allows me to truly integrate it so that you can be whole and the burden of sick care is no longer your own burden to carry. And this is what we help you with in this podcast. Hi, you guys. So I really wanted to devote this week's podcast on how to be your own health advocate, because I believe integration is the way. It's the way forward. And everything that I do, it's about finding a better way forward, right? Because whatever has worked or not worked in the past, we're here for a reason. And I see and meeting so many of you who are struggling with your own health and different issues, but it's much more than meets the eye, because everyone that I've treated, and I say this, everyone I've treated who's had autoimmune issues in my center or online have almost always had some type of small t or big T trauma in their lives, and that was perpetuating what was going on. And they all admitted that there was a precursor to this big health crisis that they're dealing with. So if integration is the way, and many of you guys are flocking the doctor's offices today to figure out answers to your problems and symptoms specifically, I want you to think about how the conventional allopathic medicine can be very useful, right? Because it is a very reductionistic approach, and it is designed that way to find the pathology in different body parts and organ systems in the body. We separated out different specialties so that they can specialize in it. So if something's wrong with it, they can be better equipped to provide you with a better medication, solution, surgery, whatever it is that they're dealing with. Because every organ works differently to balance the overall homeostasis in the body. And it is when that balance is out of whack that you get sick, right? In my case, for example, it was the kidneys affecting my heart, lungs, and just about my muscle system and my weight gain, weight loss, everything in between, right? So I want you to understand that even though I'm seeing a nephrologist, he won't be talking to me about working out to build muscle. I have to go to a physical therapist for that, right? And they all say light exercise is okay, but I have better goals than that because I don't want to just dissipate away. I've worked really hard to build muscle in my body and do a lot of yoga. And so when I got sick and had the surgery, like I wasn't going to just lay in bed and let things just, figure itself out. I was going to do things to get myself back on track, right? Despite all the things that were happening physiologically. So if you see a cardiologist, they diagnose anything heart related, right? Congestive heart failure. They have any type of atherosclerosis, any type of artery issues, blood pressure issues, anything related to the heart, right? If you have to go to somebody for endocrinologist, they might find pancreatic cancer because of insulin issues, right? They might have accidentally seen that, and you're going to go see them specifically, and then all that pertains to that, you go see the specialist. If you have PCOS or a lot of cysts that grow in your uterus, you're going to go see your OB-GYN. And if you're going to have digestive issues, you go to your gastroenterologist. And if you have kidney issues, you go to a nephrologist. And if you have lung issues, you go to a pulmonologist, right? These are all there for a reason. And they're all there
to figure out the problem, and they're very well versed in pathology. And so when you do have these issues, serious issues, and then the labs point you to in that direction, then you go see the specialist. They'll take good care of you. What I'm talking about is those of you who are seeking all these things, you still have to integrate everything and still keep things in optimal balance towards engineering your own health and wellness. And engineering that is your job, not their job, because they're never going to tie everything together for you. And that's where people get lost. Now, I can't tell you how many patients that are sort of lost and they just go and get discharged from their doctors. And they go from like being really crippled with whatever that they were dealing with to now they're free to go and they're like joining a gym and expecting people to know exactly what they went through. But there is a step-by-step system to how you can build yourself back up again. Because the important thing to remember is if you are getting sick and you are visiting all these specialists that I mentioned, and you have an autoimmune condition, you have cancer, you've got different things, or if you're one of those people that have symptoms, but the labs haven't caught up to you yet, where the doctor tells you, I don't know what's wrong, everything is normal, here's an antidepressant, and then he sends you on your way. Well, if that's you, you should listen too, because that integration is going to help you to bring homeostasis and balance back in the body in a way where things start to function again. So even for me, even with my kidney crisis, which balances out my pH levels, blood pressure, anemia, and muscle growth, all those things, like I had to figure it out, because being in the sick care system, they don't tell you how to be healthy. It teaches you how to be in the sick care system and how to take your meds and how to take your meds and how to go on disability. Like really, those were the choices given to me. And so if that's kind of like your healthcare solution, that's why I do the work that I do through functional yoga medicine, because I needed a way forward. And I figured most of you need a way forward, especially if you're struggling with the remnants of the medical system or conventional allopathic system, and you thought it was healthcare that you were supposed to bounce back, but you never did. Well, this will answer a lot of your questions, because it's not conducive to building health. Once you have an ICD-9 code diagnosis with the medical system, then that's all you'll ever be. Like when I get hospitalized and they see autoimmune, they almost always blame my autoimmunity before blaming anything else. And it's almost like, it's like their way of reductionistic approach of what they know about me. But lately I've been an outlier, and there's been a lot of little things that we had to work out through the process of transplantation and exploring different medications that did work and some of them didn't work, and caused a lot of grief and pain and suffering in my body, to where I had to come back and my body needed to recreate that equilibrium. All your doctor does is to prescribe medications in the hopes of settling back the symptoms. That's their job. Your job is to build health. And if that's you, that's not something that your doctor is going to really help you with. They might tell you to go exercise. They might tell you to go lose weight. They don't tell you how to. They just tell you, go do some yoga, go do physical therapy, go to the gym. That's the extent of the advice that you'll hear when it comes to health and wellness. So if you think that that's your healthcare, those are the people that I'm targeting to listen to me, so that you have a path forward. Because a lot of you are starting to lose hope. A lot of you are starting to feel really weak and tired and frustrated. And when you don't have hope to move forward, it really becomes a serious problem. And so I just want you to understand that you really need to look at your life and your body as a holistic organism interacting with your environment. So you can't exclude all the things that I'm about to mention. Okay. Number one, your health is important. If you're sitting here watching me, chances are you probably have a lot of struggles and health and stress from having health struggles, right? So if that's you, I want you to understand that health can create a lot of struggles and stress. So being mindful of that is number one. Many of you, because of that health and struggle, and because of the economy right now and the inflation, finances might be creating a lot of stress. And if that's you, just be aware of it and be accepting of it. Because a lot of the times what happens is we avoid the thing that we don't want to address. And we think it'll go away, but it won't go away. So really address and bring it to the forefront of your mind, because only then can you address it. We can't fix what you're not aware of, okay? Third thing is your relationship. Your relationship with yourself, number one, and then with everybody else. I want you to take an assessment of what that looks like. How kind are you to yourself? What's going on with your kids, your spouse, your coworkers, with your parents, maybe siblings? There might be a lot of drama in your family. Take into account all of those things and just right now be aware of them, right? So we mentioned three things: health, finances, and relationship. Next is sleep. Are you sleeping? And are you making your nightly ritual conducive to well-rested sleep? Because a lot of the times we're doing all the things, we're watching very dramatic, very violent TV until we fall asleep, and we wonder why we're having nightmares or waking up in the middle of the night having a lot of stress. I can't watch any killing or aggression or any violent movies anymore because it really does a number on my nervous system, and I just get really nervous and anxious, and I know that has a effect on me, so I don't do that anymore. And so if that's you, shy away from it. And I am very, very forthcoming with my kids and my husband about what I don't want to watch, because I don't want to stir up my emotions in that way. It's not worth it for me, right? And then, so sleep is the fourth one. And then the other thing is, are you moving your body every day? Because that helps you with the metabolic energy of moving the energy around in the body. And then lastly is, are you nourishing your body with healthy food? And by healthy food, it's a general term, because I really want you guys to really learn an intuitive way of eating. And that requires you to be very much aware of your body and mind and what it is requiring of you at any given moment, and providing it the necessary nourishment that it needs, as opposed to what the Instagrammer is cooking up today, or whatever, cooking channels, or any of the, mukbang channels are eating. Like, I mean, it is so addictive, you guys, like the eating channels, and I get a kick out of it. And if you look at Netflix, there's Feed Phil or some type of documentaries all over, all about food. And you get very, lots of ideas on different foods. And so a lot of the times I'm not even hungry if I watch something on Instagram. I'm like, ooh, I want to try it. And then I would go try it. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not even hungry. And so these are things that we do mindlessly. So I want you to really start to understand and differentiate, what are you doing out of habit or without thinking, versus, is this what your body really requires of you right now? It's a very two different approach. And whatever you put into your body, let it be holistic, coming straight from Mother Earth, that it's not processed heavily with seasoning, like a Doritos bag versus an apple. Always go for the apple. And making simple choices like that, making those choices easy by shopping appropriately that way at home, These are all simple, practical things before you do anything and spend money and expensive money on functional medicine and all the foo-foo stuff. Sometimes it's the practical things that you can adjust so effectively so that you can get things rolling forward. And that can be a simple coaching session. And that's what we'd like to practice at Functional Yoga Medicine, all about providing you with ease as opposed to dis-ease. So I hope you enjoyed my episode today, that it really truly lit some insights on how to utilize allopathic medicine as a tool, as a supplement to your overall health and wellness engineering approach that we're trying to promote. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys all next time.
Thank you for listening to the Mind Your Health podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, we would so much love it and appreciate it if you share it with someone who could benefit as well as to subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else where podcasts are found. And leave us a review. We would be so grateful, and it helps us to reach more people just like you, so you can become more empowered to enjoy longevity and health. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Dr. Connie Chung. And of course, you can subscribe to this podcast for a new episode every single week.